Hi everyone, my name is Eric Hayes and this is my behavioral resource video titled Working with Parents for Liberty University Online. Now, one of the most crucial aspects of any educator is working hand in hand with parents to ensure that the student has the best possible outcome. Working with the parents is not a perfect relationship though. Like any relationship, it will take time and effort from both parties. Now, the most important part is that the needs of the student are put first and foremost over any pride or ego. As educators, we need to understand that the way we talk to, how often, and how informed we are when we communicate with the parents will ultimately help us in the long run. The Bible tells us in Colossians chapter 4, verse 6, let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt, so you may know how you ought to answer each person. Your answers to every parent's question should not be homogeneous. It should change from student or from parent to parent. Now, working with parents to better their child's success in the classroom begins with guiding the parent. Parents don't necessarily know where to begin when helping their child. Teachers should create specific guidelines when giving tools to the parent. Now, it is on the teacher to form that relationship with the parent, but the parent also must reciprocate that relationship. Most parents do want to see their children succeed. Blackburn 2014 said, I found that most parents are willing to help, but they need specific ways to help. Now, by working with parents and guiding them along the way, you as the teacher can set that expectation. Teachers should be giving the tools to parents to make reading and learning fun for them and for the student. Find ways for parents to connect the reading to and learning to everyday life, and in doing so, this actually will help the child in the classroom. Now, you will be working with parents from all different backgrounds, so understand those backgrounds, and this will actually enhance your appreciation for different cultures. When a teacher has an understanding of the home culture, they engage with the student more. You're actually understanding that student, understanding their background, understanding where they're coming from, understanding their family. That ultimately helps you and will help your classroom and allows you to adapt in a more rich teaching method and allows you to include things that you never thought you could before. This won't only help the students learn in the classroom, but this gives them a greater understanding for when they are outside the classroom. Now, when you are working with a parent, when working with parents, the teacher must build the relationship so that the parent will trust the teacher with their child. Now, this is easier said than done. I know that. For there are factors that do come into play when building the relationship. Unfortunately, there is little research in the United States on the demographic nature of the trust in a parent-teacher relationship. The best advice I can give is that the best way for a teacher to build trust through is to work with the parents and the students on any problems that the student may have. Students must have trust in the teacher as well in order for parents to have that trust. So working with the student and building that trust is ultimately the key in building the trust with the parent. Now, how do you effectively communicate with the parents to give them the tools to succeed? Understand that fathers and mothers do not react the same to their child's performance or behaviors. Unfortunately, there is a stigmatism out there. Mothers feel that they do not have a voice and are judged when their child acts up more harshly than let's say the father. Now, it is imperative that us as educators we work with the fathers and mothers alike, especially if that child is an exceptional child. Now, like I said, there is a stigma in our culture that if a child is different, has ADHD, or has any other form of educational issue, this casts a negative light on the parents, and it shouldn't be like that. Parents and teachers should work together to help any student, no matter what their problems are. Now, unfortunately, it is more prevalent and hard for mothers to cope than fathers when they have a child that is exceptional. So working with the mother and making them feel comfortable with you is ultimately the main goal you should have. Now, how do you communicate with the parents? Now, recent studies have shown that parents do prefer email, and it is the most effective way of communicating, even more so than social media. Now, in the age of the coronavirus, we are all at home. We're all teaching from home. Parents are teaching from home. So if I don't answer an email right away, I'll have a parent reach out to me on social media. So it's imperative as educators that you have that communication with the parent and try and communicate often with them to understand what's going on. Now, when we get back into the classroom, understand that sending a letter home isn't always that effective for the students sometimes do forget to give the letter to their parent, or the parents get the letter last minute. Now, understand that the way that you do word your emails do matter. Keep them short, keep them to the point. Now, another communication aspect of many schools, even though some districts are cutting them, are parent-teacher conferences, or some schools are now calling them parents' nights. Now, parents' nights or parent-teacher conferences can be nerve-wracking for the students, the parents, and for teachers alike. So the best advice I can give on this is that teachers should be as comfortable as possible. This includes making sure you're using the restroom, make sure you have snacks and water beforehand, make sure you're organized, you're ready to meet the parents, understand the parents' backgrounds, and have plenty of facts to back up your case. So if you have a struggling student, you have their homework assignments, their tests and their quizzes and stuff like that. Even if you have an exceptional a student that's going above and beyond, make sure you have the case to build for the parents on that as well. Now, the problem is that as educators, we often feel rushed and we don't have time to prepare for these meetings. Understand that the meetings are not easy for some parents, though, as we can see, and they don't always come to the parent-teacher conferences. Now, the reason is that they may conjure up past negative experiences, not always want to meet the parents. Gaskell in 2019 said that these parents may harbor negative feelings about their own experiences, which also keep them away. For them, visiting the school may cause them to relive a traumatic experience. So they may have something in their past that is stopping them from coming to the conference. Now, the best practice is make sure that the parent and the student is as comfortable as possible. You know which students are struggling in your classroom. You can pull up. You can have a one-on-one meeting with the parent, the teacher. The parent, the student, and the teacher, and that makes them feel more comfortable. In doing so, you can help them understand where the student is struggling. You can also guide the parent along the way. When the parent and the teacher have an understanding and the student sees this balance, this gives them the comfort in knowing that both the parents and the teachers are looking out for their best interests. The parent should be there as an ally for the teacher, but how do you build that ally with the parent? Talk to the parent, understand their ultimate objective and goals for their child. Talk to them as often as progress is being made towards that goal, or even if progress isn't being made towards that goal, help them understand why it's not. The student should be present for that conversation that you have with the parents about said goals. Again, this shows that the student that you are working with their parent for their best possible interests. Now, the parents should understand that the teacher is there to guide the student, but the education shouldn't only happen in the classroom. It should continue at home as well. Now, this isn't pushing homework or schoolwork back on the parent, but this allows them to be involved in the process of helping their child learn and improve. Communication is a two-way street, so the parents should be comfortable with coming to you with any questions or problems. So, like I said, if during the age of coronavirus, if you have a parent that's struggling, or if you have a student that's struggling, you can see if they're not turning in homework or if they're not turning in work through whatever various means that you have. You need to communicate with the parent, as well as the parent needs to communicate with you about what's going on, why they're not their child isn't turning in work, or why they're turning in subpar work. If they need some side work, we can do that video conference as well. the more that a parent is involved or engaged with the learning process, the better the relationship is with the teacher. So this includes even after we get done with this, coronavirus scare. When we get back in the classroom, keep having that communication with the parent. Even I've had parents from students that I substituted a few years ago that still reach out to me and thank me for guiding them in helping their student have a lot of either straight A students or students that are getting a lot of scholarships now. So that's a great feeling for both you and the parents that students that I taught a few years ago are now set up for success. Now, there is this preconceived notion that parents aren't as involved with their child's schoolwork as they should be. There can be some possible reasons for this. Now, instead of dwelling on that, teachers should be focusing on engaging with the parents. Instead of just involving the parent, instead of just involving the parent, engagement actually empowers the parent to feel more involved. So when you're engaging and giving the parents the tools to succeed, it helps them feel more involved. Now, understand, unfortunately, there are students that come from backgrounds where it's less than ideal for building that bonding relationship. That's where the parent comes in, where the teacher comes in and is that role model. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6, train up a child in the way he should go, even when he is old, he will not depart from it. So, like I said, if you're giving that child the tools to succeed, you're ultimately there to show them that even if they don't have a good home life or if they don't have someone to lean on in the home, they can come to you with any questions or any problems. Now, the classrooms will not be homogeneous. I'll give you that right then and there. The teacher will have the pleasure of teaching students from all different classrooms. Now, the beauty of this is that you will learn more from them than they will from you. Again, you will learn more from them than they will learn from you. Get to know your students. Get to know their families. Get to know the dynamics. Understand that some students, like I said, may require some more individual education, for they don't have that support system at home. So guide them and lead them along the way. You can be a great role model for your teacher or for your student and help them succeed in life and help them build on anything that they're having a problem with. Now, when we speak about diverse backgrounds and everything, you need to have a strong school system. There are some aspects as far as including different source materials, like your LGBTQ materials. There can be some backlash with you as a teacher, but as long as you're as a school district, you're understanding their rules and their regulations, as a school district, they have your back. And ultimately, as I mentioned earlier, this helps your students for real life. We're all in this world. We all want to be happy and joyful. We're not all black or white. The world isn't black or white. We're all different. So, especially in today's day and age and culture, unfortunately, you will have some backlash as an educator. But as I mentioned earlier, if you have facts and have a strong school system to back you up, you will ultimately succeed in the end, and this ultimately helps you with your students. Now, you're there in lieu of the parent to guide the student along the way. The parent should have the understanding that the teacher is there to only guide the student. Ultimately, at the home is where the student should be continuing to engage in learning about different cultures, different backgrounds. So you can set that expectation early on, either with in-person meeting, email communication. Letting the parent know that you're open to inclusion. You want to involve as many students as possible in the learning process, because your students aren't always going to be the same. You're not always going to have just the same students over and over and over. You're going to have different students. You're going to have a LGBTQ a student. You're going to have to there's going to be issues, and you're going to have to talk to them and understand their background and understand their parents, and talk to their parents about any problems that do occur either in the classroom or in the school. Again, make sure you have facts to back up your case. That's the biggest thing. That's the most important thing when you're presenting something to a parent. When you're talking to a parent, make sure you have all of the facts, and that you're comfortable in talking with the parent. Some of these conversations aren't going to be comfortable. I'll tell you that right now. You're not going to have some comfortable conversations. However, you're there as an ally for your student. You're ultimately there for your student. You're there to help them, guide them along the way, make them a better person. That's why we are educators. It's why we got into the profession. We're here to help people and help as many students as we possibly can get through life. And hopefully, like I said, a lot of the students come back to me and thank me. Even some of the when I first got into the teaching profession, I substitute taught some 3rd and 4th graders a Spanish class. So even over the summer, they're now in 6th and 7th grade. They thank me if they see me out walking around or anything like that. So it's teaching can be very rewarding. Understand that it can be rewarding. However, you have to have that working relationship with the parents to ultimately help your students in the long run. So for now, that is the best advice that I can give to you guys when you're working with parents alike and working with students alike. Diverse backgrounds, many different students. Understand your students. Make everything comfortable for both you, for the parents, for the student. Engage with the students. Engage with the parents. Ensure that you are guiding the parents. You're not pushing any work back on them. You're just giving them the tools that they can help their student at home, and make things as comfortable as possible for all parties alike. Until we speak again, I thank you guys for listening to me. I thank you for listening to this presentation. I appreciate the time that you've given me to relay my thoughts and my understanding to what's going on in the different various backgrounds in the classroom. Have a great day.